G'day traders, Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. Today we're just going to review a very simple concept. There's been a lot of great questions over the weekend, and I want traders to think simple as the week begins. Everything's about simplicity. And if you read the title here today, same signals, same setups. I had some great email conversations with some traders on the weekend and just explained to them that I am looking for the exact same signal and same setups every single week. It doesn't matter to me what the instrument is. I'm looking for the same setups. I like to short things. I like to short markets. Doesn't mean that I short every market. I like to look for opportunities on the indexes in the long direction. But a simple basic model that I use to look for the same signals and setups on any instrument. I just want to repeat to traders simplicity. So if you read the second line that I've typed in here, I'm not worried about predictions or minutia or catching little micro movements back and forth and zigs and zags and calling the high, calling the low, predicting where a market's going to go and saying, I told you it was going there, all kinds of variables. I'm looking for the same setup. Now let's use short selling as an example because I repeat this in every video. I bias towards shorting markets. That doesn't mean that I'm going to try and short the indexes all the time because I like to go long. But what I'm explaining to you today is that I'm looking for the same setup on any instrument. And when the penny drops, you'll understand that I'm not trying to figure out a market. I'm looking at the instruments that are going to offer me a sell high setup. Now I talk about building the watch list. Each day we have markets either closing in breakout or closing in consolidation. They may give us a signal day. The train may leave the station in Asia, but I'm looking for the New York session sell high setup and read the middle. Any instrument. I want this setup on any instrument. I'm not predicting. I'm not trading all kinds of little micro movements and saying, I told you so. I just want the sell high setup. Now, this can be a market that's been breaking down and pumps up for the dump from a signal day. We can have a market that's been breaking out 3 higher days, 4 higher days of breakouts, multiple days of breakouts for the dump. I want traders to understand this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the sell high setup because I like to short markets. Now, that doesn't mean that every single day I'm going to get that signal. So, of course, if I have markets that are giving me a clean buy low setup, I'm going to look for the exact same setup in the long direction. But my bias is looking for opportunities for selling high. And these are the signal days. Remember what I said. Markets are either in consolidation or breakout. Multiple days of breakouts, or we have signal days that form in consolidation at extremes. Markets only do 3 things. They only do 3 things. Every single market is exactly the same. Now remember what I said at the beginning of the video. This is the setup that I'm looking for. 2 blue lines, 2 levels, any instrument. So if that's my setup, then that means I'm not worried about all kinds of variables. So I want you to listen real closely to this statement. If you don't hunt something specific yourself as the trader, and you're looking at all kinds of variables to figure out the micro minutia movement based on an algorithm or anything else, that means the trader themselves are a variable and they're hunting lots of variables, which means your results will probably vary also. 2 to 3 of these setups a week, which are scalable in size, can significantly compound your trading account. So we can look at any instruments, but I've talked about keeping things really simple. Markets are going to offer the same opportunities because markets only do 3 things. Every single market's the same. Friday is the closing range of the week, and on Monday morning, the opening range. We start from Friday's closing price. There can be a gap, no gap. It doesn't mean anything to me because that initial movement on Monday establishes our new high and low heading into a new week. Now, remember what I said earlier. Markets are either in consolidation or breakout. Now, on Friday, do we have a signal day? Do we have a signal day? So an example of an inside day signal day came on gold last Friday before our week started. We had Friday closing out the week, the closing range, and Friday was an inside day. Well, Monday, traders had the opportunity. I talk about understanding the signal days as higher time frame opportunities. The question for me when I come to New York, has the train already left the station? Well, Monday, traders had the opportunity. I talk about understanding the signal days as higher time frame opportunities. The question for me when I come to New York, has the train already left the station? So Friday was an inside day. Right off the beginning of a new week, the market goes into breakout. Now remember what I said just a moment ago. Everything starts from Friday's closing price, and the market has already broken out. We have breakout traders in the market on Monday. Now, if I'm looking for a sell high setup, and we're on Monday, the opening range, and this market is in breakout, we talk about day one runners. Day one runners. There's our opening range on Monday, day one. A market, very strong trend on gold, still trending higher. Monday, day one. Continues to break out on day two. And traders in the Europe-London window have a session reversal opportunity. A nail and bail, the A+ session trade. Let's go back to what I'm hunting. I'm looking for the A++, the A++, and the A+. But I want you to think in simple terms. I'm not just going there looking every day to try and short something. Now, traders in the Europe-London window had the A+ session opportunity. What that means is that the session reversal trade setup offered them the nail and bail. Traders are holding on, hoping that they caught the all-time high in gold. And I've said to traders, number one, what setup have you mastered? If this is the setup that you're hunting. Number two, do you understand, is it A++, A++, and A+, which means manage the trade, lock in the profits. Are you in a reversal, a session reversal? You've heard me say if it breaks out in Asia, breaks out in London, it can still reverse in those other sessions. So you want to lock in the money. Is it an A++? It's not coming back. We're on the front side of the week. It's day two. Day two typically expands the range. Day two typically expands the range. Remember what we said. We've got a high-low on Monday. They're making a bigger box. They're expanding the range. Still have multiple days of breakouts in play. This market is still going higher. Same setup, but traders in the Europe-London window got the session nail and bail. We come to New York, and this market continues to trade higher. Train your eyes to move horizontally at the levels. Markets only do three things: breakout, pullback, continuation. So understand that I don't have a sell high setup in the New York session. There's a sell high setup in the Europe-London window. So if I'm not following my plan, I'm trying to catch highs and catch lows and predict and grab this and grab that and put my 100% expansions and catch the 50% and the zigzag and all this crazy stuff. No, I'm looking for one setup, the sell high opportunity. Now, this is an instrument that just gave a signal because it closed in breakout. It was an inside day on Friday, but neither one of those have presented in the New York session. And we have other instruments on our watch list that also gave signal days. And we're going to look at the difference in a moment of those. So we have Tuesday, day two, expanding the range. Wednesday, the midpoint range of the week. Market continues to trade higher. It's still in breakout. Higher highs, higher lows. Traders in the London session have a nail and bail opportunity again. You're either buying low or selling high. Doesn't matter if it's a dump, coil, and pump, or a V bottom, or the A top, or the pump, coil, and dump template. There are only two setups. So again, an instrument that's on our watch list because it's closed in multiple days of breakouts and traders are following that. We come to our New York session. The trade has already happened. I'm not sitting inside going, I'm trying to catch the high on Wednesday. The high's up here. The high's up here. There's the high of the week. It's Wednesday, the midpoint range of the week. We still have a market that continues to break out and go higher. Every trader has to decide what setup are they hunting. If the traders come in the London session and it's already taken off, some traders in the Asian window may have traded that at the end of their window. We have a market now again that's broken out, pulled back, and continues to trade higher. Continues to trade higher. So one of the things that traders need to understand is that just because markets are giving you that sell high setup doesn't mean that's the best instrument on your watch list. You can have instruments on your watch list, but trying to counter trend a strongly trending market can also be hazardous to your trading account. If you have a setup, that's one thing, but if you're just trying to blindly short something because it's up high, you want to know exactly what you're doing. We had multiple days of breakouts, and on Free Cash Friday, we may have now a reversal trade closing out the week. We mentioned this earlier in a previous video. Traders from the masterclass will recognize in our New York window, you can only trade in one direction. Multiple time frames driving this move. We are under the all-time highest closing price. Thursday closed in breakout. Again, bringing this instrument up on our watch list. And we have our closing range of the week. We have breakout traders again blowing off day 3. Friday's a day 3 template. There are 2 types of trades on a day 3. I talked right at the beginning of the video, I'm looking for the sell high reversal setup. It's the closing range of the week. We have our pump, coil, and dump opportunity in the New York session. Now, this is where I want traders to think really simple, because I can use the US dollar index to target currency pairs if they offer me the same setup in the New York session. Okay, so remember what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about going to markets every single day trying to figure out where I can get a trade. I'm looking for the same setup 2 to 3 times a week on any market. There's going to be subtle variations. Build your muscle memory. I'm looking for sell high setups based on signal days where markets are going to go on a parabolic explosive reversal opportunity in the short direction. This is just an example of shorting setups. I'm looking for the same setup over and over and over again. Same setup, any instrument. So read this right here, XYZ. That means I don't care what instrument it is. There's going to be subtle variations, but I'm looking for the same setup every week. Same signals, same setup. Build your watch list. Which instrument sets up into New York? We just looked at gold, and it offered session, nail, and bales, but we didn't get the New York trade in the short direction. So there's traders who are going long. I understand that. Doesn't matter. I'm talking about what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the sell high setup in the New York window. I talk about training your eyes to move horizontally. There's 2 types of sell high setups, the A-top or the pump, coil, and dump. This is a pump, coil, and dump on a smaller time frame. 2 blue lines. There's my box. I had a daily signal. Do I care what instrument this is? I'm looking for the sell high setup. Does it have to be in a market that just keeps breaking out higher? No, it does not. Markets are either in consolidation or breakout. So we have a market that breaks out on Tuesday, day 2 on the US dollar index. Now, I mentioned this earlier. I use the index, and then I'll look at the Japanese yen. I'll look at the Swiss franc. I'll look at the Canadian dollar, because they're US dollar cross pairs. So we're looking at the Japanese yen just as an example. Now, I just said I don't care which pair it is. I'm using the index to give me a bias of, is it going up or is it going down? Now, we said a minute ago markets are either in consolidation or breakout. Okay, well, the US dollar broke out in the long direction. So if I'm looking for short selling opportunities, if this market's in breakout long, it may offer me a reversal setup, but it may stay in breakout. We may have multiple days of breakouts. Now, I want traders to think real simple. I talked about this. Bring up a weekly chart, a weekly bar chart. We can get an open, a low, a high, and a close. We can get an open, a high, a low, and a close. And I can get opportunities for short selling on either one of those templates. That same setup that I just showed you a moment ago for selling high, I can get it on either one of these templates. Now, we can have multiple days of breakouts on the front side, and it may give me the Friday reversal like we just saw on gold. We can have a market that may give a signal day out of consolidation. We had an inside day on Monday. It was a holiday in the U.S., and that market reversed on a failed breakout on Tuesday, day 2, expanded the range and reversal. We had the signal day, the inside day. So we have a previous week that was in consolidation, opens in breakout. It breaks out again on day 2, expanding the range. We have multiple days of breakouts. Day 1, day 2, day 3, reset. Thursday, Friday, reversal, closing back inside of the range. The question is which pair, when I have this template, which pair in that basket is giving me the New York session sell high setup? So traders misconstrue that. Oh, they're all trading in confluence and everything else. Yes, but which instrument gives me the New York session trade? So we have a market that gives a signal day on Friday. Now we had inside days on all those pairs, but I said a moment ago there's only two setups, pump, coil, and dump, or an A top, or we have dump, coil, and pump and V bottom. There are either sell setup or a buy setup. So we've got our pump, coil, and dump template, and we can look at our other instruments on the same day. They gave the same signals, different subtle variations if you go and look, but we have the same templates lining up with our dollar index. I'm looking for the sell high setup. Or front side of the week, is it an A triple plus, A double plus, A plus? Well, I've talked about this, the master class. I'm looking for opportunities, high of week, low of week, on the back side of the week typically. We can have major red news that can impact these setups, CPI, FOMC, non-farm payrolls, etc. But understanding that I'm looking for the exact same setup, where are we in the weekly template? Monday opens the week, Friday closes the week. Wednesday's the midpoint range of the week. Is it a nail and bail? Is it a hold till close? Is it an all-in load the boat, not coming back, high of week, low of week opportunity? Now, I want you to do your homework, but I want you to understand we had the same signal, and we come to our Japanese yen on Tuesday, and I open up my charts. They're on my watch list, and Asia's already got the trade. The dollar index offers New York session traders the opportunity for the reversal. Now, maybe the Swiss franc also did. Maybe the Canadian dollar, well, hold on a second. The Canadian dollar actually broke higher. It broke higher and continued to trade and make higher highs. But you said, Stacey, a moment ago that we're following the U.S. index. I did say that. And if I'm looking for a sell high setup, I can still follow this instrument, day 1, day 2, day 3, midpoint range, and day 1, day 2, day 3 headed into the backside of the week. Friday's a closing range, market that broke down from the high of day level, offering traders the pump, coil, and dump reversal setup, but not until later in the New York session. So that trade didn't happen in my timing window. Same setup, a little bit later, a subtle variation, but an example of where instruments still in that basket, if we follow those across, even with the Japanese yen, day 1, day 2, Wednesday, day 3, offering traders a nail and bail in our New York window just by following the process. A market that continued to break down, lower lows, lower highs, and giving a New York session A plus nail and bail shorting opportunity. Do you have to take this? No, you do not. But I'm just demonstrating to traders, understanding the templates as these weeks unfold, and do they offer setups in your session? Now, we can put all kinds of minutiae all over the chart and everything else, but remember, I'm just looking for a trade setup, and markets only do 3 things. We're on our daily chart. Remember what I talked about. We have a breakout candle, and we also have a breakout now that has failed. Where is the money? 1, 2, 3 days of breakouts, reversal, then the inside day, signal day closing out the week. The failed break reversal on our inside day. Remember, signal days, if they're in consolidation, are they signal days at extremes? Or is the market still in breakout? If it's in breakout, does it offer me a setup in my New York session? Now, if you'd like to go in the long direction, well, obviously, then we just looked at the U.S. dollar index, and you may be looking at the euro, the pound, the Aussie dollar, and the New Zealand cross pairs in the opposite direction. So I'm looking for the same setup over and over and over again. Read the middle, any instrument, which one sets up the best in my session, but understanding how the basket works, and then you can also be looking at cross rates. We have signal days. So in closing, I want to just really hammer home the point to traders, simplicity. I am looking for the same setup every single day, every single week. If I get 2 to 3 of those a week, that significantly compounds my trading account. Daily signals, hunting one setup. I don't care which setup you're hunting. You can hunt multiples. That's up to you. Remember what I said earlier. Variables increases your varying results. I'm looking for the same setup. Master that setup. Master the lifetime execution. What does that mean? It means understanding getting in, scaling in if you're scaling in, managing your risk, knowing where you're going to take profits before you even get into that trade. If my best setup is a New York session reversal in our 10 a.m. club, maybe that's going to be my best opportunity. And if it occurs at the low of week level on day 2, maybe that's my best setup on the day. Then that's the opportunity that I'm going to execute. So as our new week starts, I'm going to ask traders the same question I ask them every single week. Which setup are you hunting? Which signals are you looking for? Because when you look for the same thing over and over and over again, there's no analysis paralysis. There's no guesswork. There's no diddling in the middle, looking for minutia and catching every little move. You understand that 2 to 3 of these scalable setups, increasing size as your results and consistency dictate, are what will scale your trading business up inside. And number 4, close this out. No impulsive, random, emotional, degenerate gambling type of behavior. It's a winnable game. Traders play to win. Last week was an incredible week for many traders in our community. I congratulate you. Keep up the good work. This is a winnable game. Have your best week ever. Stick to the rinse and repeat money-making plan. Stay away from predicting, thinking, hoping, minutia, micro-movement variables, and stick to the playbook winning plan. Have a great day, traders, and may the markets go with you.